GMSONIC. Dude, it's nighttime.
It is nighttime. We had to kind of make a special schedule here, and we haven't recorded in a long time. It kind of feels weird to not be streaming,
Yeah.
but
we have to do a very special recording session for a very special guest.
Very special man. Mm-hmm. I think we mentioned it once or twice. It was kind of becoming like a Owen from Spooky scenario where it was just, getting hard to schedule. But in Ecologist's defense, he's 14 hours ahead of us. So that is like the schedule challenge impossible for us both being on Eastern time is figuring out when we can chat with someone that's 12, 14 hours away. So super excited though to have him here, and we're gonna bring him up in a second. But we were also talking about this before we started recording, how whenever we show the chart, something happens and the episode doesn't come out for a couple days, but we're gonna show the chart anyway, mostly because today was an extremely good day. It's what everyone's been praying for, right? Just a big old, good old fashioned giant Fantom green candle, like the old days, like the good old days. Look at that thing.
Yeah, feels good. We haven't seen a day like this since the 19th.
Yeah, since the last time we marched up to 50 cents and went all the way back down to 30 something. But it's exciting stuff. I think part of this for me pulling this up is that hopefully when we stream, this green is still just going to keep going up, right? The candle's going to keep moving up. And I'd also just like to point out, if you recall in the last stream, that this little red guy is right around where my buy order was. So you'll have to excuse me if I'm...
I feel like the text is bigger now than it was when you put it on the stream. Did you maybe feel a little bit stronger?
I'm trying to
really want us to know.
Can I? Yeah, here we go.
drag bot at this line.
Oh, I can't go above 40. That sucks. I want to make it like the size of the screen.
Yeah. Never forget. What was it, like September 7th? Drag bot. Never forget 9/7 when drag bot.
Yeah.
Big profit.
But then in like 3 or 4 weeks, you'll be able to see how I bought, and it was like not a good place to buy or something. But right now, looks pretty good. Felt good. We were talking about this too. I was saying it felt good to have a little bit of a win, because thanks to our friend Ethereum, who can't even have an ETF and pump price, the entire market just dumped. We were in leverage euphoria, hitting licks every single day. Corval just looking like Scrooge McDuck. Like,
you want to hear something gross though?
What? I'd love to hear something gross.
I actually made most of my riches in the last couple of weeks shorting Ethereum on that one day. It dumped huge. I got like 800% on that.
That's even better though. That's something to be proud of, because
and it was what was kind of fun about it is it was a vengeful short too. It was like this stupid fucking asset. I hate it so goddamn much. Send this shit to zero.
Yeah, man. That's impressive work. Yeah, that would feel really good especially if you were just like, I'm literally just shorting this out of spite because I hate it so much, and then you hit that.
I'm sick of Vitalik's shenanigans. He no longer represents me. He used to be a wholesome little nerd talking about World of Warcraft. Now he's got his hot Asian girlfriend. He doesn't give a fuck about us, dude.
Yeah, I know.
He doesn't care about us anymore.
His priorities have changed, and as much as I hate to say it, you've changed, dog.
Yeah, I know you're watching this.
You don't care. It just feels like you don't care really, and kind of hurts. But I could handle the pain if the token wasn't so terrible.
Yeah. I can't even do a little retail therapy anymore, man.
So, but yeah, this is our first time recording in a while. So yeah, it is kind of weird. It's like I keep looking at the feed, trying to see what people are saying.
Yeah, they can't help you now, Dracula. You're stuck in here with me.
I know it's like I have to perform now. I don't have the comments to lean on and talk about. So, but yeah, I think let's hope that when we come back to this is still going up. It'll probably be funny because I think we have a stream and then this will probably come out. I'll try to turn this
Yeah.
around though quick. But yeah, I think it's about time to bring the man, the legend, the ecologist. So, boom, how you doing, buddy?
We got a beautiful face.
You're
Doing
looking
good,
great.
man. I am doing good, and I'm so glad that I've got that follow back active on your screen there. That would have been extremely humiliating opening.
Yeah, I forgot you were like, I'm gonna like mute my mic too to be like double safe. So
yeah, here now, and appreciate it a lot. Appreciate the gas up intro there. Don't think I've heard someone speak that nicely about me ever, maybe. So that was really, really much appreciated. And also, thanks heaps, fellas, for putting this on, doing the extra shift. The good evening, Sonic. But got to remember, it's a GM somewhere.
It's true. It's true. That's a good point. But yeah, no, happy to do it. Like I was saying, we've been trying to get it to work for a while, and then we almost missed again. But then you were like, I'm gonna be gone for like 2 weeks, so it was like, all right, we gotta do this.
Yeah, busy time, man. So appreciate it. It's always a squeeze, but wouldn't be anywhere else than up here with you boys right now.
Well, we appreciate it. Yeah. So, man, it's like where to even start. I'm sure anyone watching this at least knows who you are. You were a big Fantom bull last run. You always had the good DeFi tips and the project breakdowns. You were always, it seemed like you were always doing a lot of research. I'd put you up there with, it's like, I think like when people first came to Fantom, it'd be like, oh, like Fantom alerts and, Ecologist. Like that was like two really big kind of like educational, ways that like drew people into the chain. And I mean, like I had seen like your content before, like we even ever met, like I mean it's wild. So we all went through that brutal bear market, but it's been nice that we've had this meme season. Everyone's been having a little bit of fun. Give us something, right? So was just gonna start out, I guess, just talking about Eco. You launched this. Did you launch it before the first season of meme season, or was it like like kind of in the middle of it? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was before it. Like I think a few weeks before it. Just as I got the incredible URL of phantom.eco. They announced Sonic like 2 days later, and I can't get sonic.eco. So that was a bit of an issue, but we'll roll with it. Stick with the Fantom legacy stuff. But yeah, it was a couple of weeks before that meme season. I didn't know meme season was coming up at all, so that was a really great surprise because no doubt it's been a great support to a bunch of the tokens on chain. But yeah, funny you say that about the back in the origins with FTM alerts as well, because he was really sort of like my unofficial mentor in many ways. Like when I first discovered DeFi at all, I had no one wanted to talk to me about it. So I made this Twitter account at the time and was just searching cash tags all the time and following Austin. And yeah, he was a big inspiration for me to be able to be like, yeah, you can talk about this shit and people seem to be interested in it. So yeah, it all began with me just discovering it all and talking about the things I was discovering. And I do look back at some of that early content with big cringe, but everyone's got to start somewhere, man. And it's really, sometimes it's a blast going back and seeing some of those discoveries made along the way. I think that's something really important for us all to remember. Like we're at this stage now where we know Fantom and the Sonic ecosystem so intimately. But there was a point when none of us did. So that's why I think with Eco, I'm trying to build a community token, a bit of a meme aspect to it that's really onboarding focused, really educating people as to how all of this DeFi stuff works. So that's been the mission for a long time. A lot of a lot of guides, videos, and stuff coming up. And basically, the whole notion is that whatever you can do on Fantom or soon on Sonic, you can do it with Eco. So that's kind of behind all of the different protocols that you can currently farm on, the NFT collection, all of that sort of stuff, all of the pairings with those native tokens. It's about getting as enmeshed with the Fantom ecosystem as possible, and then showing people as well that, it's not all about those quick flash in the pan gains. I mean, I tried to design these tokenomics so we've got 2+ years of solid distribution for farming incentives, where that's going to help the treasury that's farming up, an equal position, a beats position, a whole bunch of other ecosystem tokens. Got 2 and a bit years to build up that treasury as much as possible, and then just show people that that power can continue beyond the emission schedule, and that compound interest and really rolling your investments back into more and acting in that community style. There's it's not magic. It's simple, basic stuff, and it works. You just got to persevere.
Well, that's one thing I do think is like really nice to see and interesting to look at is it kind of the token itself and the setup and everything. It does kind of bring me back to more like last cycle, but in a good way, to where it's like it's actually just really well thought out. It's not just a token, it's more like a project. It's not just like, oh, here's a funny animal and it's a token and that's the token, there you go. You've really put a lot of thought into just like, I mean, how like the DeFi system is going to work, the treasury concept. I noticed that earlier. I was looking. I did think it was cool that I was like looking on Deck Screener, and it was like, yeah, like you have liquidity all over the place. Which of course, it's always good to kind of have like that one main hub, which yours looks like, it's Equalizer. But especially with all the routers and everything, there's really no reason to not be spread out now, especially if like there's good incentives or other protocols that people are more ingrained in, because I do see that, especially when you're looking at like Equalizer and Beethoven, which right now for Fantom, they're pretty much like the main spots you can still farm and get decent return and all that stuff. But it is kind of like you meet people that prefer Equalizer or prefer Beethoven, so it's nice that you like have a bunch of liquidity kind of spread out all over. I mean, even Spirit, which I guess is soon to be Silver Swap, you even have a pool over there.
Yeah, and that one with the USDC, that was just, again, it's that sort of keeping those constant transactions ticking over through little arb opportunities everywhere. But those pools, a lot of them have really matured. I think that initial Eco Fantom pool started out at like 12.5K or something like that, and now it's 160,000. We've got the S Fantom X one, 52,000. Eco Equal now up to 25K thanks to that equal pump, and I think it's really helping as well. Like that's the other side of it. I think that people might not quite understand. Having that $26,000 of Eco Equal liquidity has really helped last night. I think we haven't seen a lot of, I don't think any big buys or sells come in the last 12 hours or so. But when I went to sleep, Eco was priced slightly under FTM, and now it's up to 1.025 or whatever. And I think that that's a testament to Equal's pump and Eco having that liquidity there. It's just balanced the pool out. It's lifted across the entire spectrum, the Eco price. So that's one of the other reasons too. It's really pairing with tokens that I believe in and that I want the eco treasury to accumulate.
Yeah, and I hope you don't mind me pulling up the chart. I know some people would rather be like, don't pull up the chart, but
it's looking good right now. I'm very happy for the chart to be displayed right now.
Yeah, and that's why I was like pulling it up, because I was like, considering that, obviously we all took a tumble here. We were just talking about this before we started recording about, the Ethereum ETF and everything, kind of dumping. And Yeah, I mean, like this is a good looking chart, and you know, still up 700% from launch price. That's a feat, especially on Phantom. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
I
it's
think it's
looking
even
strong.
it's a bit better against I like to chart it against FTM as well a lot, because I think that's an important sort of ratio to see the value being held, and
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's more than a 10x from launch against that. And I think I did a tweet the other day on this one, looking at the last 50 days. It hasn't, obviously, I would much prefer max pump, but it hasn't ranged more than 10% either side of the FTM price. It's been between that sort of like 1.1 to 0.9 for the last 50 days. So that's
Yeah.
the sort of thing that I'm really proud to have been able to deliver during that downtrend. Because yeah, like
Yeah.
everyone can see that a lot of charts got pretty smashed there. So at least being able to hold that ratio and the value compared to FTM, it's a farmer's token, as the website says. So that's been 50 days of zero impermanent loss for farmers, bringing in 70 to 80% APR or whatever. So that's sort of the mission, is to keep things as steady as possible. And there's that sweet spot, I guess, where you've got to be emitting tokens to well, not emitting, but releasing tokens to get those bribes going on Equalizer, Beethoven, various other places. This stuff, it's not free. These APRs don't just appear out of anywhere.
Yeah.
But and when you're doing that, it's really, I've seen a few projects, I think, overdo it, because it's really tempting to splash out and pump those APRs, but
Mhm.
you've got to hit that sweet spot where your chart is not being damaged and you're not losing that value against FTM. And yeah, I
Well,
think it's been good how we've been sailing for the last couple of months to be able to hold that. I'm really, really pleased with where the chart's at.
yeah, and I mean, I think that means a lot when you can kind of find that sweet spot where people are actually flywheeling to get into your liquidity pool. They're not just taking the bribes just to, get back into like the native dex token or whatever. So obviously, you guys have found like that balance. And yeah, I agree. It's like um you'll see these new projects come out, and it's like, yeah, it's cool to be able to say we're the top briber this week or whatever, but then those bribes run out pretty fast. So it's almost
Yeah,
like people that play cards, poker or blackjack. And I have a friend that's like a professional poker player, and his thing has always just been that, like, you have to stay consistent with your bets no matter what's happening. And
yeah,
I think, yeah, it's kind of like you said, it's like you got to kind of find that sweet spot where you're not hurting the token value, but it's enough that people still want to, provide liquidity and get into the system.
absolutely. And then I think every single week you can do that is a strengthening of the protocol, because you're getting more out into circulation. Those LPs are growing, and it's just onwards and upwards sort of thing. So it's a mission. And I mean, it's not, like you said. I mean, I've got the bribes at the current size are good to go for nearly another 2 years. It'll be a bit more than 2 years all up, but that's how spaced out it is. And I mean, that's sometimes I think I'm a bit crazy for that, because a week is a year in crypto or whatever, and 2 years is just a massive time frame. But I guess the beauty of it is that since it's not a DEX project with a set emission schedule and that sort of thing, that there is that ability to pivot if the circumstances change dramatically. So it's got a plan, but it's also a nimble plan. We saw things like, even with meme season round two, for example, there was the rule change to say that you couldn't have weighted LPs. I had a problem there because about a third of the eco liquidity was in a weighted pool. So had to pivot with that and adjust it back to that 50/50 FTMX, which, that was a bit of a stressful time for me, because I was worried about people withdrawing proportionally and then dumping just eco single-sided into that pool, and
Hmm.
there was
Yeah.
potential to wreck the chart there. So I don't know. It's been really illuminating for me to be on the sort of like project founder and manager side of things rather than looking from the outside in
Yeah.
about how important those little moments are, because that could have hit the chart 20% if I hadn't tried to manage that as best as possible and walk people through it, I think. So we're through that little adjustment, and that's sort of the way I'm hoping to be able to tackle those sorts of those shifts as we go forward.
Yeah. I mean, that's there's people joke on Phantom a lot how it's like, as the market kind of got worse, it was like, yeah, everybody's just got a token. And it's like, oh, that's that guy's token and that's that guy's token. And it was actually me and Funeral were talking about it, how I said, I actually don't mind that every single person has a token, because they can see how hard it is. They can see how
Yeah,
damn hard it is to run a project. And, a lot of people fold up after a week or two, but I think what you said there, I mean, it's a good point where it's kind of like that's what makes it so hard sometimes, is that you're like in a minefield. I mean, any big mistake could, like, hurt the project forever, or any really bad call or bad move or whatever. So yeah, it's yeah, you've really navigated it well. And I guess you've,
so far, gotta keep it up. That's the thing.
yeah,
It's like it's an ever present alertness, and having to be plugged in, and that helps, I think, because that's just, and I guess that's sort of why I've got eco how it is, because I have been here every day for nearly 4 years now, transacting on Phantom. So I'm used to having sort of like the finger on the pulse and being able to adjust that. Probably, like, actually, definitely too much wasted time on just staring at stuff, and sort of like thinking things over and not acting. But that ever presence is the way here. There's always new opportunities. There's always other opportunities dwindling out, and then you have to pivot. And like you said, like, the meme coins, and community coins, it's people want updates all the time. You've always got to be talking about it and realizing that the people that you're talking to may be seeing this for the first time. So just because you've said something, you can't assume that it's taken for knowledge, by everyone, or obviously you just got to keep on drilling in those basics, I think.
yeah,
Good point.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I think that's you know, with your token, it's, you're like, or like I said, I don't even like know if you could, it's more like a project, but yeah, it's like it's somewhere between meme, but it's got like some real utility and some real stuff going on. And I pulled up the roadmap here. So I did notice, so you are planning on going to Sonic, which I'm hoping everybody is, but yeah, it's good to know you're planning on doing that. Any plans to, like, are you thinking like you'll bridge it over, or more like a new drop, or is there any alpha there that you can share yet?
I'm leaning towards, and almost definitely, I think, just straight bridge over, make it
Yeah.
multi-chain token just between Fantom and Sonic, and gradually move the all the liquidity over to Sonic, as those incentives, I'm sure, are going to be much more substantial, than over on Fantom. But I've done things like, already I've got the all of the project owned eco FTM liquidity on Equalizer. I think there's about nearly $40,000 of that. That's in an ELOC, and has been sent to the Sonic Community Council. So taking part in all of that process, letting them handle that initial switchover, and giving community that extra security of having, the ELOC going, and managed by that team of trusted people externally. But yeah, I mean, I've been a bit surprised about the confusion, I suppose, around what's going to be on Sonic and what's not. I mean, I was always coming at it from the perspective of anyone who's here and active on Phantom, you've got to assume is going to Sonic as well.
Yeah.
I think it's people seem to be overcomplicating it and second guessing it. I saw some chat the other day and people were like, "Why would I buy something on Phantom? It's about to be dead," sort of thing. And it's today's chart shows that's not true. This is the chance to be in before the real hype begins, in many ways. And the way that, through Layer Zero and Axelar at the moment, it's so simple to get any token straight across.
Yep.
And we don't have any issues with, I can see how it might be an issue for a project that burned liquidity or something like that. But we have not done that. We are, the whole point as a farming treasury accumulation project has been to farm that project owned liquidity and build the base, that sort of backing and strength going forward through that. So there was no burning, and it's just incredible that I love those equalizer ELOCs. Is so good. The fact that we can still keep control of that liquidity, farm the equal, build up the VE equal position, do some Fantom buybacks, all of that sort of stuff, all with someone else holding the locked LP. That's nuts. So very, very grateful for that.
Yeah, for sure. That was like a really good idea on their part. And if I remember correctly, I guess when you provide the LP to the council, I mean, they basically are saying like that's liquidity that's guaranteed to be on Sonic, right? Or something like that. But yeah, a little alpha for other projects. I've seen a lot of this too, in regards to Sonic, where people are like already kind of fretting about like, is this moving? Or you go, is your project going? But Axelar, and I don't even know to this day if I'm saying that right because of the spelling. It might be Axelar or it might be Axelar, but they're not as well known as Layer Zero. But I mean, they have an actual graphic interface. I mean, they have a tool that you can literally take your existing token and put in all the info and verify you're the contract owner, and I mean, literally, it's got like an interface and everything. It's like it's like no code.
I don't think you even need to be the verified owner. I was talking with
Yeah,
Blake
maybe
from
not,
Equalizer
honestly.
the other day. Yeah, he did. We tested it out. He used that old dead rugged meme coin Kirby, and he made it multi-chain. He put it over on base and bridged some across as
So
him, just being a guy who had a little bit in his wallet.
That's wild.
It's that easy. So yeah, that's I got to get that message out there that unless the project is clearly dead, everything on Fantom is very much alive.
Yeah, very easy to move it over. So I pulled up your roadmap I saw something interesting here towards the end. It says wildlife charity.
Yeah, man. It's been a while since I've looked at this roadmap. Since everything seems to be on schedule, that's good.
It's like, yeah, the roadmap. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess anyone that knows you or is familiar with your content, it's always been that you're very, I don't know if I'd say environmentalist. I don't know if you would like that label, but you're obviously very concerned with the environment. So I didn't know that till I just pulled this up, that I guess you're hoping to eventually do some kind of wildlife charity.
Yeah, man. It's probably been my main dream ever since discovering crypto, I think, because I work in the wildlife space, and for a charity that I know the struggle of the charities and how hard fundraising teams work for not a lot of money in comparison to the sort of stuff that's getting thrown around on chain to, let's be honest, in some cases, some pretty shit stuff. People are just aping into anything. And it's just like, I think that was one of the things that really resonated with me from the start. I was like, the things that could be done, the good that could be done with this money is just unfathomable, basically. So it's always been my ambition to somehow tap into that and support real world projects that really, really need it and that I care about a lot. So that's been, it's at the end of the eco roadmap is, after those 2 years are up and all of the eco is in public circulation. At that point, the vision is that the treasury there'll be a healthy enough liquidity in the treasury. There'll be healthy enough BE equal and Marbeats positions, etc. as well going forward. Shadow NFTs, that sort of stuff, that will be able to keep driving those votes and emissions to the eco pairs, as well as doing buybacks to keep that token price up and keep those emissions rolling. But as well as that, as long as everything is, project always comes first. But at that point, if things are healthy, also start shaving off some of those treasury earnings for real world good projects. Whether or not that is funding specific things, or if it's sort of like donations to charities in need, not quite there yet, but that is the vision, to really get some good out of all of this that goes on. Because of course, everyone's here for personal reasons, I think, but we've always got to remember that I don't know. I see some pretty out of touch shit get said on CryptoX and that sort of thing, that I think a bit of a dose of reality can never hurt.
Yeah. Well, I think that cause is near and dear to my heart, because that means that Corval's finally going to have a place to live permanently.
That's
You're
the
gonna be
first one,
like his own
first
reserve.
project.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
His
In the
own
wilderness.
his entire reserve where he can just roam and be free, and
That's really why I'm in this space, is I just kind of just need that. I'm just trying to raise enough money so I can get my own section of rainforest where I can eat nuts and berries and find animals.
That is not too far from my reality, to be honest. That's what it's all about, man. Like, you see some of those accounts, like that's why I like X accounts, like Recmeotes and stuff like that. Those guys are those guys who have made it and are just living the life properly, rather than spending all of their time still here doing what we're doing.
It's hard.
That's not the dream.
It's it's definitely hard to there's something about it, I don't know, it's crypto in general, that there's some kind of rush or thing you get. In some ways it's almost like an adrenaline junkie thing too, where
man,
I don't know, once you kind of do it, I just feel like it's it's hard to. I kind of told myself I was going to walk away after last cycle, and I was like, well, I mean, what would I do if I wasn't just shit posting and in the Telegram and thinking of new stuff to work on? And I don't know. But yeah, I envy those people that are like, yeah, I'm already retired and I just lift weights and eat honey and raw meat, and I just hang out in my custom built mansion that's half outside, half inside, staring at the stars every night. But yeah, no, I mean, it's
I hate those guys. I hate those guys that say that shit.
It's hard.
Then why are you fucking posting on X, dude? Get a fucking life.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful.
I mean, it's part of why I did Alaska, was it was kind of like I knew it was going to force me to touch grass. Because I have had trips before where I'm still I got to worry about this or worry about that. But yeah, no, I mean, I get what you're saying, where it's ultimately you got to have some kind of goal that you would say, okay, when I do this, I can just chill. I can not worry about stuff or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but I saw someone the other day say, that a lot of people in this space need to get help for their gambling addictions, because money is clearly not their problem. And that's the thing, when you've got dudes with millions of dollars who are just, all they're doing is trying to make more millions. I don't know. For me, you just gotta tap out and enjoy it at some point, because all you're getting out of that is that dopamine rush from hitting a win. It's just a gambling addiction.
Ecologist, I gotta say, there is something here where I think about it often, and truly, I gotta say, I see what you're saying, but also, if you stop gambling, you might have just missed that big job, that big position, right? So
you might have
90% of gambling addicts quit right before they're about to hit it big.
There's always, and there's no deny. I can't stay away from the leverage gamble every now and again. It's just being careful with how much you do for it, because that's what I'm trying to build with eco. And then I guess with how I've run my own portfolio has always been like I'm a pretty shit trader, to be honest. I mean, I can see good stuff like Sonic and know this is good stuff. It's good to be in.
Yeah.
But buying and I'm not buying and selling that day to day. Typically, I'm farming. Almost all of my portfolio is in LP positions, and then each week I'm rolling some of those back into more LP, and I'm shaving some money off for real life. And I'm stacking some of my BTC and FTM bags, all the blue chips and stuff going up. But there's I don't know. It's all about that passive income, and I guess you said before that looking at the eco website that it's a bit last cycle in many ways, and I'd agree with that. I think that's sort of like that's remained my core operation, I suppose, even throughout the bear. Is no matter if it's up or down, just sticking to that disciplined script of week in, week out. Make sure you're taking some, make sure you're building some. And then, I think if you're in for a while doing that, it's you're gonna make it. You don't have to hit the 100x leverage trade if you can just be a little more patient. Is much easier said than done, but
yeah. Sometimes you just got to try to make it all back in one revenge trade. But
you do.
I think your way sounds a lot smarter. For sure. But something I did want to touch on, and I guess we're kind of almost out of time here, but meme season, kind of a sneaky look at that. I mean, you guys made it up to 7.
Sneaky link there.
Yeah. And points wise, not very far behind,
No, it was a tough season, man. I thought that this one, personally, I felt it was a little long, and with the sort of like liquidity weighting across it, it was hard to make a push to overtake the obviously quality tokens above. Yeah, these are tough competitors with some serious communities and monetary backing behind them. But really, really happy with the 7th on the board, and you never know. I mean, I'm kind of holding out hope for someone else having stuffed up above me and maybe being able to sneak up to a 6th or 5th. I don't know.
Well, it's we kind of discussed this already about how depending, I guess, on the rule change. I mean, if we have round 3 on Fantom, 3 of the top 6 teams would not be eligible for prizes, so that would pretty much shoe you in immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. I've still even got hope for this round. Never know. I'm never saying never. Waiting for the official results, but happy with the 7th. Like if there's a round to come 7th in, I think this was a really good one because, like you said, depending, it's hard. I don't want to like market eco on 3 teams above being disqualified for the next round, and you never know if that's going to change. But it is it's a potentially real factor, and who knows how they're going to set it up. If it's the same setup as this time and those 3 are out, then that's going to be sick.
That's good. That's good for eco holders.
Absolutely, and I am the biggest one of those, so that's good. I guess that's like kind of why I don't know. That's sort of a thing with eco, is that I'm hoping that the community over time will see that there's that I'm not going anywhere with my position. Like my whole ethos in that kind of like building the LP gradually and taking profits from rewards applies to this more than anything else. So effectively, I mean, my I gave myself a 5% allocation in the initial tokenomics, and all of that is gone. It's already all paired up. I provided the FTM or the Fantom X side of it, and now I'm buying more and putting more into it too. It's just kind of like, for me personally, it's good to have a token with someone that I personally trust behind it. So it's nice to have something where I'm not thinking, what's this guy gonna do, because it's me.
Hold on, I'm writing down an idea for a story. Meme coin deployer has multiple personalities. He rugs himself and wakes up to it the next day. Okay,
That's
good. Got it.
But that's the thing, like it's like whatever. I guess that's the message for people thinking about joining the eco communities. Like that's I only make money from eco from farming it. So forever, my focus is going to be making sure there's good farming conditions for eco because yeah, I'm just part of community myself in many ways.
Well, man, we've covered a lot. Corval, you got anything for Ecologist here?
Well, I was just thinking he's like a druid. He's like a druid, dude. He's so harmonious.
I know.
I don't think I would trust anyone else more than I trust the Ecologist right now.
I think you sold me on increasing the bag.
I'm buying I'm doubling whatever Dracula's buy is.
All right, we'll set that up. But man, I really appreciate your time and I'm glad we finally did this. It was kind of like last minute because we were like, oh yeah, we got to do it today, and glad it all pulled together. Do you have any parting words you would like to throw out there to eco holders or your followers?
Just thanks for being involved, man, because I think that's the big thing. Cheers to you guys for hosting me today. I hope it's not the last time. Hope we can do some more of this sort of stuff going forward.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
I think things are looking great. I think I'm really, really happy with the little community. I think we're just sitting under about 1,000 holders right now. That's been on the steady uptick, but really liking the organic build from it. Obviously, had some success with the e-collection through Zvanaka, our NFTs, and just had, I think, 6 hours ago or something, record sale. The rank 1 just sold for 1.1k FTM. So
nice.
Really just liking that, it's just like I'm glad that people are recognizing it and wanting to buy these things. People who minted and making some money off them. It's fantastic. It all helps. And yeah, looking forward to growing that. I think that's one thing. Like now we've got the mint out done for e-collection. I'm thinking though, and the airdrops that came with it, they've been distributed. Next stage for them is to announce the like the ongoing. There's perpetual rewards for holders in some way. Just need to flesh out exactly how that will be, but yeah. So
well, I'm glad you brought that up because that was literally what I do is I close my tabs as like we get through something, and I was like, that was my only tab still sitting there was the NFT collection. So but yeah, no, congrats on that too.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, and just once again, thanks Ecologist, and we will definitely do it again. Thanks for watching today. Like I said, it's not a stream, it's a recording, so we will get this out ASAP. OX Sonic Talk, that's where you can see our recordings and our streams on X, YouTube, GM_Sonic for live streams as well, also recordings and some shorts. We got a guy cutting up some shorts and all that stuff, and then of course just GMSONIC anywhere you listen to podcasts and all that. And yeah, we will see everybody soon.
Adios, everybody.
Cheers, legends.
This is a flea market funded enterprise. You guys have those over where you're at, Ecologist?
Yeah, we do. We don't call them that though. We call them, oh fuck, what do we even call them? Flea market.
Well, see, I'm surprised you could identify what it was off of that term itself.
Oh man, it's so. The world is so Americanized in all of pop culture and stuff. I think there's not a phrase we're not familiar with. It's part of. It's like learning a second language.
They call it a tick shop out there.
Tick shop, dude.